Hello guys. So today first time I am starting this portion of disease management, plant pathology. So basically this is not a basic level course, somewhat means advanced portion. This disease management, not from the basic part I won't start because this is not my field. So let me start this introduction to principles of disease management. So first thing is we need to understand what is pest management. First thing, this one we need to understand. So what is a pest? In the entomology course we have deal with that one. What is a pest? Pests are the organisms which may cause significant and economical damage to human being or human welfare. It may be a pathogen, it may be an insect, it may be a rodent, it may be a nematode, whatever it may be. So pest management includes some basic principles. On which basis the principles are made? First thing is, it may be a single operation or a series of operations, maybe individual techniques or some integrated or series of techniques we have to adopt. So that what will happen? Again, 3 points are there. First is to make the life difficult for the pest. Whatever the pest is there, whatever their life cycle, their strategy of growth, that will be difficult for the pest. We will make some things, some manipulation, so that their life development strategy will be difficult for them. The environment will become like that, or the techniques will become like that. First point. This one is the first point. Then come to the second point, or kill the pest. This one is the second point. Either make their life difficult or kill them. Kill the pest. Third point is prevent their growth and multiplication. We have to prevent their growth and we have to stop their multiplication. Neither they will grow nor they will multiply. Stopping at that level only. Fourth point is makes it laborious for them to spread. This is the last and important one, that not only we have to stop them, not only we have to stop their multiplication, again we have to stop them from spreading. Suppose they are at plant placements, they must be killed at that portion only. They should not spread to all other parts. So four things are there. One is to make their life difficult for them. Second is to kill them. Third is to prevent them from growth and multiplication. Last one is to make it laborious for them to spread. They should not spread. Wherever they are, they must be present at that portion only. In that portion itself, we have to kill them or stop their multiplication. This one is what? Pest management strategy. Or this pest management includes, these are some of the aim. So now we'll study these principles of pest management. What are the basic principles of pest management? We will study over here. It is again two part. One is prophylaxis or prophylactic. Second one is immunization. Prophylaxis means what? We have to do some manipulation. Immunization is what? In the plant itself, we have to do some manipulation. This one is within the plant and this one is outside the plant, whatever we are doing. So first we will complete prophylaxis or prophylactic methods, principles, then we will go for immunization. So first come to this prophylaxis. This is again subdivided into four parts. One is avoidance, second is exclusion, third is eradication, fourth is protection. What is avoidance? Cultural and environmental manipulation. You have to do cultural, that means environmental manipulation. Exclusion is quarantine and other legislative measures. Eradication is cultural and chemical eradication. Protection is what? Cultural manipulation, physical and chemical protection. So one by one we will complete all these sub-points of prophylactic principles. So the first one is what? This avoidance. What is avoidance? First principle of pest management, that one is the avoidance. So here what will happen, try to understand properly. First point is disease will be there already in that particular area. Suppose this is an area. In this area the disease is already there. So what the principle tells? The principle will tell that keeping away the crop from the pathogen. The area is there, in that area the pathogen is there, but what the principle is telling? Although the pathogen is there in the field, but it should not harm the crop. This is the principle of avoidance. So what is the avoidance? What to do here now? Manipulation of the environment in such a way that development of disease is avoided. It will be avoided. Disease pathogen is there in the field, crop is there in the field, or crop will come in that field. Will manipulate the environment, the habitat in such a way that the disease or the pathogen won't come to the plant. The plant will be avoided due to some environmental manipulation by the pathogen. Okay, that one is what? Avoidance. So if you undergo this principle, then what will happen? As a result, what will happen? Its development does not coincide with the critical stage of the crop. Suppose the pathogen will attack this plant in this stage, suppose vegetative stage. So when the pathogen will develop, the crop will be in vegetative stage, then they will interact with each other, the pathogen will attack the plant. But here what will happen? Suppose we will go for early sowing or late sowing. Late sowing, what will happen? When the pathogen will come into the environment, when they will be active in nature, at that time the crop will be at nursery stage. That means the critical stage of the crop is not coinciding with the pathogen development. Automatically the disease incidence will be disrupted and the damage can be avoided. For example, what are the strategies we can take? Mostly the cultural practices we can use: selection of the field, choice of time of sowing, disease escaping varieties, selection of healthy seed and planting materials, and modification of some other cultural practices. So these are the strategies we have to take to undergo avoidance. Second one is the exclusion. Okay. Second one is exclusion. What is exclusion? Excluded. The person will be excluded. Yes or no? So why this exclusion term came? You see, unrestricted movement of plants or the plant product, the soil and some equipments, okay, within and between countries has resulted in worldwide distribution of many plant pathogenic organisms. Suppose in Odisha, one pathogen was not there, but it was in Bihar. So due to this movement of plants, their products, soil, equipment used, those things were transported within the state or within Bihar, in between district. Though the pathogen was not born in that particular area, but still due to those kind of transportation, the pathogen came into those disease-free areas. So this is the problem for which exclusion principle was developed. Okay. So what the need came after that? Hence there is a need for restricting the movement of disease plant materials into areas which areas are free from the disease concern. Suppose the disease A is not there in Odisha, means it should be always free. It should not come from any other places. समझ में आती है कि नहीं? अगर हमारे स्टेट में एक डिजीज नहीं है तो वो और कोई स्टेट से वो नहीं आना चाहिए. सपोज कोरोना वायरस हमारे इंडिया में नहीं है तो वो चाइना से नहीं आना चाहिए. वही होता है क्या? क्वारंटाइन. जो होता है क्वारंटाइन लेजिस्लेटिव enforcement, that is called as what? Exclusion. Broadly called as exclusion. The strategies are this quarantine and legislative methods. So what the principle says? This principle can be defined as any measure, any kind of measures that prevents the introduction of a disease causing agent, the pathogen, into a region which was free from the concerned disease. Same thing. So what the principle says? We have to take some measures, some strategy to prevent what? To prevent the accidental introduction of those diseases to a area which area was previously known to be free, the pathogen free. जिस एरिया में डिजीज नहीं है उस एरिया को डिजीज मत भेजिए, कुछ भी करके वो है उसे वहां पे बंद कीजिए, तो वही होता है एक्सक्लूजन. Then come to example. What are the strategies we can take? Use of quarantine measures. Okay. So many institutions are there. DPPQS is there. FRI is there. Some other institutions are there. We will deal in the entomology part, in applied entomology. We can take those things. Quarantine stations are there. Use of phytosanitary certificate. Suppose Odisha is sending something to Telangana. Then Odisha officials who are concerned with that particular material, they will produce a certificate that this planting material or this specific object is free from any kind of disease or pest. That one is what? Phytosanitary certificate. Use of disease free seed or planting material or cleaning equipments, all other things coming under this exclusion principle strategies. Then come to this eradication. Okay, third point is eradication. What is eradication? This eradication indicate that we have to eradicate. Eradicate means either we can go for destruction or removal or elimination of the pathogen from its source. Either we have to destroy them or simply we have to remove them, or we have to eliminate those pathogens or pest from its source. Source means what? It may be a area, it may be a field, or it may be an individual plant. From this source we have to destroy those pests. Okay. So what are the aims of this principle? Eliminating a pathogen. Suppose this one area is there. Suppose one field is there. Here plants are there. Okay. So what is our what will happen in this stage of eradication? The pest already came and already started damaging the plants. It may be a pathogen or it may be a pest, insect. So what we'll do in the eradication? We have to eliminate or remove or destroy those pests from these plants where the disease already introduced. In those plants the disease already been introduced, we have to eliminate or destroy those pests. First point. Second point is what? Before this pest will establish permanently in this field. Before the pest will complete their life cycle and stay permanently over here, we have to eradicate those pests. That is the aim of this eradication principle. Okay. It can be applied into the individual plants or seedlots or field or specific regions, but not effective over a large geographic area. It can be only possible in a very small area, not in large areas. Understood? This one is what? Eradication. Then come to protection. Fourth one is protection. Okay, this one is the protection. This one is a very common measure used to prevent the onset of a disease on a crop, is to protect the host from attack by the pathogen. Leave those things. So what the principles tell here? This principle depends on the establishing a barrier between the pathogen and the host plant or the susceptible part of the host plant. Okay, now you try to understand. Suppose this is a big plot and here plants are there divided by some rows. So what this protection tells, what we can do, we have to establish some barrier. Okay, we have to establish a barrier in between these two plant rows or in between two plants. Okay, or suppose the pathogen is here and the susceptible part is this one. So we have to make a barrier here also, either in between plants or in between plant rows or susceptible part of the plant from a resistant part of the plant. We have to give a barrier in between that one. Okay, this strategy is known as what? Protection. We are protecting the susceptible plant, susceptible rows or susceptible plant part. Generally it can be chemical like use of fungicide, bactericide, nematicide, etc. But it can also be physical, special, or any kind of removal barrier. Okay, what is the example? Bananas are covered with plastic sleeves as soon as the fruit are set. It can be covered with some plastic sleeves when the fruit are setting to protect what? From the fruit, to protect the fruit from various pests including fruit decaying fungus. Suppose this is banana or any kind of fruit, we can go for bagging or covering with a polythene sheet. Then what will happen? No insect pest, no fungus or any kind of disease can affect the fruit directly. It can be protected. That one is what? Protection. Understood? So till now we have completed these four things already been completed. Prophylactic measures principle. Now come to this immunization. So what is immunization? First understand. This immunization involves the modification of certain physical and physiological character. It may be the physical or morphological character or some physiological character or some chemical character of the plant so that the plant or the plant variety can resist the infection. It will totally resist the infection or can reduce the disease development. Suppose the pathogen came and it is multiplying, it can stop that. Okay, reduce the disease development or can minimize damage caused by the pathogen. Suppose the insect has damaged this much of the plant, it can stop here. Three things are there. Okay, one is to totally resist, they won't come to the plant. Second one is minimize the damage caused by the pathogen. Suppose they came to a plant, they will minimize the disease here itself. They won't further spread to the plant. Third one is what? Or can reduce the disease development. That means same thing. Suppose the disease is here, it will stop the fungus or the virus or whatever the causal organism pathogen. It won't further multiply. They will die here itself. So this is what? Immunization. Generally made by two strategies again. Genetic or host plant resistance. Second one is a therapy. So these 2 points left. Okay. So first one is host resistance or host plant resistance. What is this one? Altering the efficiency of the pest by employing the resistance host. We have to manipulate this resistant host. How will manipulate? Okay. Or what are the strategy to be employed? Here what happens? This employing or the implication is involving what? Preventing the infection. The infection won't occur or reducing the effect of infection by managing the host. Either it will totally resist or the effect of infection will be stopped. Infection will be stopped. By what? Through improvement of resistant unit. Suppose the plant is there. If it has resistance, it will resist. If not, very less resistance is there, we can improvement the resistant factor, resistant unit by some genetic manipulation. There comes biotechnology and all other things. Generally in plant, what happens? Due to continued exposure of pathogenic invasions, the host may develop some resistance to infection. Likewise, the plant may alter several of its morphological and physiological character so that it will be difficult for the disease or the pest to colonize or to develop. For example, is use of resistant variety and use of genetically modified crop, generally denoted as what? GM crops, genetically modified crops. This one is what? Host resistance. Then come to the sixth one, therapy. The last phase is therapy. Reducing the severity of the disease in an infected individual. Suppose in an individual's the already disease came and now it is multiplying. We can reduce this severity. How? By heat, thermotherapy, by chemical, chemotherapy, and by tree surgery we can do this kind of things. Suppose one individual plant is there and that is affected by the pathogens and the pathogens are multiplying. At that particular time we can undergo this therapy. No other option left. We have to undergo therapy either by thermotherapy, chemotherapy or tree surgery. In case of heat therapy we have to have a consciousness that the plant must tolerate the thermal inactivation temperature death point of the pest. Suppose the pest, you have to understand this one. I hope you understood, but still you see, suppose for the pest, okay, the mortality temperature is how much? Suppose 60 degree, okay, and the plant is having suppose 50 degree centigrade. So suppose here you have undergone this thermotherapy, then what will happen? We have to rise 60 degree centigrade to kill the pest, but within that what will happen? The plant will also be killed. Understood or not? So here what we need to understand? The inactivation death point of the plant, okay, must be greater than the pest. Here what will be the situation? The pest will die at 60 degree but the plant will die at 80 to 100 degree. At that condition we can undergo this thermotherapy. So I hope you understood. So basically these four are important: prophylactic measure, and then comes immunization. It undergoes more two subpoints. I hope you understood. If any kind of doubt is there, then kindly ask in the comment box. Thank you for watching.